Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Lego Karate Kid Moc collection. For this Moc collection, I built 6 MOCs, all representing 6 different scenes in this movie. I have one major one, which is the finale of the movie, and 5 miniature ones. I built this in plans to display it for 2020 Lego conventions, but obviously due to the pandemic, that has not happened, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Starting out with the first mini mock of this collection, we have the scene near the beginning of the movie where Johnny comes to try to win Allie back, and Daniel chooses to get into a fight with him over the boombox. As you can see right here, we have Allie and Johnny, and then there's Daniel. We do have a few just random people in the back there, so it has the party vibe as well as the fire you kind of see in the movie that they're all huddled around. In the movie, Daniel gets beat up pretty easily, as at that point he didn't have any training. Johnny has his black bandana that you see throughout the movie, as well as that jacket's supposed to be his red Cobra Kai jacket. For my second scene of the collection, I chose to do the scene from Halloween after the Cobra Kai members attack Daniel for spraying Johnny with water, and Mr. Miyagi comes to the rescue. The Cobra Kai costumes were very easy, as Lego released skeleton costumes in a Halloween CMF a few years ago. So for Johnny's, all they had to do was put a hairpiece on. Daniel in that scene was wearing a football jersey, so that is what I chose to do with him here with the white one that also came in CMF series. For the fencing, I chose to use a netting piece and then kind of use studs and modified bricks to clip them on, and then just tiled it off to look a lot nicer. Overall, it's a very simple design. For the third mock in the collection, I chose to do the infamous wax on, wax off scene. This is probably one of the most iconic scenes from the movie, and I just felt like if I were to do this one had to be made. For it, I built my own 47 Ford Deluxe car. I'm very proud of the way it turned out. I think it looks pretty decently like the car, especially for it being my only second time ever trying to design a car. I think it turned out really well. To make it, I just used pieces in my collection to kind of get the general shape, and then if I didn't have it in yellow, I ordered them on Bricklink later, which I think that was a huge help. Was I wasn't restricted to color. I chose to start with design choices. For Daniel, I just used 2 1x2 white tiles to kind of symbolize the rags, and I used the Batman headpiece to kind of get that white bandana look, which I think works perfectly. My next build was one of my personal favorite scenes when Mr. Miyagi and Daniel go on the fishing boat, and Daniel's at the top doing his kata, and he keeps bugging Mr. Miyagi about when he's going to learn how to punch, and Mr. Miyagi chooses to rock the boat and Daniel fall off. I just always found that such a fun, comical scene, and really showed the chemistry between the two actors. So when I originally decided I want to do Karate Kid, this was like one of the first ones that I knew I was going to do. It's a very simple design. I just used light blue studs to symbolize the water, and Lego's boat design. It really is probably the simplest mock out of all of them, but I think it works perfectly. I don't think I needed to go all out for this one to capture this amazing scene. And for the final mini mock, and my personal favorite of them, I have the scene where Mr. Miyagi is doing his crane kick, and Daniel learns about it from the distance when he's crashing through the waves. So I really love this one. I love what I was able to get with the sand and kind of using plates instead of tile to kind of give it that rough look, as well as using the circle tiles for the ocean and kind of changing it to the trans clear there to kind of give it that edge of beach to ocean. I'm also so happy that I was able to get my hands on a few of the like tree cut pieces so I could put on top of these logs to give them a little more added detail. I think I did the best I could for the posability of Mr. Miyagi there, as you know, Lego arms don't bend in the proper direction that you would need to be able to get the proper essence of the crane kick from the movie. But overall, like I said, this is definitely one of my favorites. I'm so happy with how this one turned out. While I still have all of these out, I should probably mention that for the mini mocs, I chose to give them a black bordering to kind of make the ends of the mock a little more smooth. I thought that they looked a little weird, just kind of like cutting off with no sort of like thing to end it. So that's why I went with the black borders. The black border design is very simple. I just stacked plates on top of each other. It was two, and then I put tile on top, kind of, interchanging it so they lock into place together. I'm really happy with that look. I'm glad I went with that. Like I said, it just looked weird not having something to end the mock. And here it is, the final part of the Karate Kid Moc series, and obviously my personal favorite, as I've put in the most work into this. Before I dive into it, let's take a look at some of the key minifigures. Now, when it comes to this big mock, I definitely put in the most effort and the most time and money into this, and it clearly shows within the minifigures. I really wanted them to be the most accurate in this part of the mock. So right here we have Daniel in his white gi. To do that, I just used the one from the, I think, CMF Series 2. There's nothing really on the back, just the original Karate Gi, as the new one coming out in the one of the most recent CMFs had not come out yet. Like I mentioned in the previous mini mocks, I chose to use the Batman heads because that has the white stripe for the eyes, and it worked perfectly for the bandana. And I chose this hairpiece because I think it best represented Daniel's hair with the ability to show the bandana very clearly. Now, for our next minifigure, we have Mr. Miyagi. This hairpiece is definitely the most accurate to his hair within the movie. For the face, I chose to use one of the henchman villain in the Force Awakens Millennium Falcon, as that was probably the closest to Mr. Miyagi's face. In the time of the original film, his beard was black, but with some gray in it. Sadly, there wasn't really a face that had the gray. I chose to use this suit for him because it was the most accurate. His suit in the movie was gray, and I tried to use the one from the Jurassic World sets, but with all the designs on it, it looked a little too off and not close enough to what he was wearing, as he didn't have a tie, and trying to find a gray suit without a tie was in Lego is very difficult. I don't really think they've made something that close, so this is what I chose to go with. So the next figure is Mrs. LaRusso. I chose to use the torso and legs from the Big Bang Theory sets because she is wearing pretty large boots in the movie, and even though the torso is probably not the most movie accurate, it definitely seemed like something she would wear, as she definitely wore a lot of weird sweaters. The face is just your standard new Black Widow face. I had a bunch of those lying around, so I just figured I could reuse one of those for her. And the hairpiece is one from an old Friends set that I found in my house. Next up is Allie. Now for Allie, I chose to go with a face from the Jurassic World sets. That was Claire's. I used this nervous expression because I really thought it fit, for the scene. I used a torso from the old Harry Potter sets because in the movie she's wearing a gray jacket over a button-down shirt, and this was the closest thing I could find to that. For the legs, I went with the old Scarlet Witch legs. They're not the most accurate. In the movie, she's wearing a purple skirt, but I could not find something that was close enough, so I just went with the black skirt. I chose to go with the skirt accuracy instead of the coloring. Now we move on to Daniel's opponent, Johnny Lawrence. Now, I am super happy with how this figure turned out. I really love it. So for the face, I chose to use one of the Batman faces from the Batman movie sets. I took one, I found he has the really angry expression, which I think works, and his eyes are very small, so you could not see him, especially with this hairpiece, covers it great, so it really also gives him that black bandana look, which I love. I took a torso from old Ninjago sets, and then I copied that over for all the rest of the Cobra Kai members. The legs were just, I found in my parts. I think they're also from Ninjago, but I don't know for sure. I just switched out the arms to the flesh color. This one's probably one of my favorite of the bunch. Next up is the Cobra Kai leader, John Kreese. Now, I also really love this figure, is another one of my favorites. So I chose to go with using the Zod torso and legs from the Batman CMF series. I thought that was the best look for him because he kind of has his collar pop more and you see more of his chest. I also switched out the arms to the flesh color. For the face, I got this face in a Dimensions pack on clearance, and I just thought the angry expression worked very well. And I think this hairpiece, which I found in my collection, really is the perfect hairpiece for the John Kreese figure. Next, here's just a really quick shot of the remaining Cobra Kai members. I have Jimmy, Dutch, Bobby, and Tommy. Those were the named ones in the film, so I thought those were the ones that needed to be recreated. Similar to Johnny, I got the same torsos and then just kind of grabbed black legs. As you know, they were in the background. They don't need to be as detailed. Next up, we have the referees. Very simple, not much to say. The middle referee here, though, is the one that is seen in the movie as the head ref. He is also the stunt coordinator of the movie, so I thought, you know, with all he did for that movie, he would be a nice little addition there to make in Lego. And lastly, we have our in-house announcer there. I loved the scene where Ali comes out and he's talking and like, Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight. And I really wanted to recreate that shot in a picture, so I chose to make him not anything really special. I just kind of grabbed some spare parts to make him, but I really like this figure. Getting a close-up look at this mock, obviously this is based off of the final scene with Johnny versus Daniel at the All Valley Karate Championship. To do this, I decided to make the base some studs not on top and basically flip it on its side and then get some modified bricks to help hold the rest of it down, which gives the smooth effect. I built 6 different bleachers, as you can see, where I have a bunch of audience sitting around. I have to say I'm pretty proud of the bleachers I was able to make. They're a little fragile, especially when trying to put minifigures on it, but nonetheless they look very good. In the back here, we have a little trophy case along with the teams. You have from left the Cobra Kai team to the right, which is the Miyagi-Do team. Now, to make the big bracket wall in the back, I took black bricks and built them up, and then I have a bunch of little red plates scattered through to kind of give that bracket-y effect. I printed out a bunch of custom stickers to then put on here for the names and the All Valley at the top. This is turned out a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. The red and yellow really pop, and I really love what I was able to do. Similarly to the bracket board, I printed out a sticker here to get the All Valley symbol that was on the mat in the movie, and I think it turned out pretty great as well. This is probably my best of the stickers and kind of its placement. As you see, you have Johnny to the left and Daniel to your right with the refs surrounding them. Overall, I have to say the center could have just been a mock on its own, but I think everything else put together really helps this entire thing stand out and make it easily the best mock of this entire collection. Thank you so much for tuning in to see my Lego Karate Kid Moc. If you would like to see more pictures of these, I have them up on my Instagram, which is @BCBricks, and I hope to see you in the next one.